Hi and welcome to Berry Patch Lifestyle. My name is Tracy, and along with hoping that people stay active for their entire lives, I also want to help them put healthy things into their body. I am a yoga instructor, a personal trainer, and a chef. And my focus as a chef has always been on keeping nutrition in food. So that's what I'm going to do today. We're going to talk about bowls and what the heck is a bowl. So when I went to culinary school, we learned about composed salads. That meant when you put salad on a plate, you would put the items in beside each other, not toss everything together. That was a composed salad. And bowls are much like that. So you get something like this, which is actually a bowl, and the food inside of it. You're gonna place them beside each other. So we're gonna start with a base today of quinoa. And quinoa is very good for you on the superfood list. It has a complete protein in it, which means it's a good replacement for people who are vegetarians or vegan. And it has been assumed that because I do a lot of talking about grains and fruits and vegetables that I'm a vegetarian, but that is not the case. So respect to all the vegans and vegetarians out there, but I do still eat meat. I was gonna say I do still consume meat. So we're gonna start today with, we're gonna make my version of a burrito bowl. And we're gonna start with our base of quinoa. I already have the quinoa in the pot. I'm working only with myself and one camera, so I can't do the overhead shot. When you are working with quinoa, you're gonna want to rinse it thoroughly. So I usually put it in a fine mesh sieve, and I usually make 1 cup. So it's the same as rice. It would be a 2 to 1. So as far as quinoa goes, 1 cup of quinoa to 2 cups of whatever liquid you're using. I rarely use water because I like to get not nutrition, but I like to get flavor into the food as it's cooking. And this is a great opportunity. So what I'm going to use today is chicken stock. And I'm also going to add this taco seasoning to it. So I've made my own recipe. I will post. You can, for time's sake, use a prepared product. Why would you then do this? The reason is then you can control what's in it. If you have issues with sugars or sodium, then you can use a product that you make yourself. Okay, so I have 1 cup of quinoa. It's a scant cup. We don't want to run out of liquid. And then I've got 2 cups of chicken stock going in. And I am going to be fairly heavy-handed with this spice mixture. It's quite strong, but quinoa in itself, as much as I love quinoa alone, is a little bit bland, especially if you've never had it before. It's much like rice. It cooks the same as rice, just a little better. I don't want to say better for you. It just has a little bit more dense nutrient than regular rice would. Okay, so I'm going to we're gonna go for like a tablespoon and a half of my spice mixture. I'm gonna mix it all together, and I'm gonna put this on the stove. Cook it, like I said, just like you would rice. We're gonna bring it to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer, cover it for about 15 minutes, and our base will be ready. Okay, quinoa is all done, so we can continue with the rest of the prep. I'm going to make a really, really simple salsa fresca. And if you've never made salsa fresca before, it's not complicated. It just means fresh salsa. So what I did was I chopped up the tomatoes and I'm draining them out just so that we can concentrate the flavors a little bit. We don't want that extra tomato water in there, but you also don't have to throw that out. If you do your salsa fresca first, you can add it to the quinoa when you're cooking it. So there is use for that. I've added some very nice mild sweet onions to the bowl. So I've got onion, I've got my drained tomatoes. I will probably use that liquid for something else later. I've got the tomatoes in here and a little bit of nice mild sweet onion. And I will put the recipe for it so you can have the portions or proportions as well. So now I've got some cilantro here, and there is a definite love-hate relationship, or love-hate relationship. It seems like people who really, really like cilantro really like it, and people who hate it really detest it. I'm not gonna add too much. I'm just gonna rough chop it. The board is sliding all over the place. So I'm just rough chopping that cilantro, and I'm gonna add it to the bowl. I have some people that are actually coming for dinner tonight that may or may not like cilantro, so I'm not going to go too crazy with it. I won't even use it all, and I'll just mix that right in there, just to get some of the flavor, maybe a little bit more. You can tell I'm one of the ones that likes cilantro. All right, so I'm also going to add a little bit of pepper, nice coarse grind pepper, a little bit of salt, a little bit I said, not too much. And then I'll move my cilantro over a little bit. I'm going to use a lime. So juice of 1 lime. I don't have a juicer, don't ever use one. I use a fork. Anytime I'm doing citrus, fork goes right inside, and then you can wiggle it back and forth while you squish. And then I just rotate whatever orange, lemon type of citrus that I'm doing. Just kind of eliminates one more gadget in your cupboard or in your drawers, I guess. And that is it. That is our salsa fresca. So we'll use that to help us build our bowl. Give it a good mix. The salt is gonna make the tomatoes leach a little bit more liquid, but that's okay. You can pour it off if you like, strain it off. There is our gorgeous, gorgeous salsa fresca. I like to make this in the summertime. I'll make a jarred salsa in the winter because I use canned tomatoes. But in the summer, we get these beautiful tomatoes. You're gonna wanna make something nice and fresh like that. In the wintertime, we have these things that look like tomatoes, but taste like cardboard. So I don't really like to use those. Now, that being said, time-saving tip. If you don't wanna make salsa fresca and you have a jar of salsa in your cupboard or in your fridge, please use that if you need to save time. So I approach cooking the same way I approach my yoga training and my personal training. If something doesn't fit for you or you have a better way in your house of doing it, please do that. Okay, the other thing I'm going to make is a dressing for the top. So we're gonna build the bowl. We're putting all these wonderful flavors on top, and then we're just gonna dress it a little bit with a dressing. In this case, I'm using white wine vinegar and a mixture of olive oil and canola oil, which is my favorite. A lot of people like straight olive oil. You do what works for you. I'm gonna take the other half of our lime and just squeeze it in here. So I've got 3/4 of a cup of the olive canola mix. And then I've got, for my acid, I've got the white wine vinegar. This is also part of the acid that makes up our dressing. I'm gonna have a lot more dressings for you to come. And then remember that taco seasoning we made? I am going to take a teaspoon to start of that, and I'm going to add it to our dressing for flavor. And you can see that I'm making this in my little processor. Try not to use the brand name of it. Many people have these. You make smoothies in them. You can make your dressings in them too. If you have a wand or an immersion blender, that'll work too. So we have the oil, we have the acid, we have the seasoning, and I also put about a tablespoon of honey just to sweeten it up a little bit. So I am going to take this, I'm going to blend it, and I will be right back. Here we have it. If you don't have an immersion blender or a blender, you can just shake this as well. Just get yourself a mason jar and do a little shake. I'm gonna add it to my dressing bottle. You can just leave it right in the original container if you like. I just like the care and control I get with this. That's the chef in me. There. And there is our dressing, nice and ready. The next thing I would like to talk about is this here guy. So if you want to put some meat into your bowl, which I will definitely be doing today, these rotisserie chickens are fantastic. Now, if you cook off chicken breasts, that's great too. Or if you're using chicken leg, chicken thigh, whatever it is that you want to use, this is a great time saver, and it's cooked in a very healthy manner. The only thing I would say is I usually remove the skin. Please don't cringe if you're one of those people that loves the skin. So what I will do with this is I'm going to find the breastbone, and I'm just gonna make a cut down there, turn it towards myself. So, and I'm just gonna take that whole breast right off. Okay, so store-bought rotisserie chicken, save you some time, also usually delicious. And I took most of the side breast off, and I'm going to, please don't be sad, I'm going to take off the skin as well. Just don't need that extra little bit of fat. Be kind to your heart. And then we'll just kind of rough chop that too. Maybe give it one down the middle. It's a lot of chicken for our bowl. That's probably enough for two, depending on how big of an eater you are. All right, oh boy, this is coming together very nicely. I'm gonna give you all kinds of ingredients ideas for this. Eliminate, add wherever you choose, okay? So that is all done. Need a little rinse, was playing with chicken. My towel. And now we're going to put it all together. We have our bowl. Now, I really like these giant bowls. You can use just a regular size bowl if you like. And we have our quinoa nice and prepared. My little spoon for the quinoa here. And I'm gonna use this, like I said, for the base. So you can see it's got a brown color to it. That's because of the spices that we put. We have our base, quinoa base. I have chopped up some orange peppers. Put that to the side. Have some black beans to the side. Have some corn. There we go. We are going to add, oh, this little bit of specialness here. So I've got also, we're gonna put our chicken in. I'm not gonna use all of it because that's an awful lot of chicken for me. And this one I'm making for myself. All right, so I've got chicken now, and then I've got this gorgeous baby kale. I love kale, and these little guys are so nice and sweet. I am going to add them in as well. So just a little bit on the side. Okay, got my kale in there. And now we're putting in our salsa fresca. So many nice fresh ingredients. Chicken. We have avocados here. I'm not going to use them today, but another nice addition, if you want to make guacamole, you could have this in there as well. So we've done all of our composition. We have our peppers are in there and our beans under the kale. We've got our chicken and our corn and our salsa fresca. And I have some grated cheese I'm going to add just to the top. Now you can do this, like I said, warm or cold, and if that's warm, it's gonna melt the cheese. And then we have our dressing that we made, and light with this, we don't need a lot of it. And there you have it. Now if you don't want to make that dressing, again, you can buy something that's already been prepared. And there we have it, our bowl. So I hope you enjoy that. I will post all of the recipes online, and that's it for now. Until next time. Take care.